Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It's Post Jazz. You have Josh and David. It's very balanced today that we have an Arsenal fan and a Manchester United fan. I, for one, I'm a Leeds fan, so at least I'm not going to take sides. Anyway, guys, before all of you come in, let's first have this, please. Let's first have this. This was before the day before Brighton versus Manchester United. So let's first have this. Let's just play this.
We shall win that game. I do think that it is time for De Ligt to
that's Josh.
Partner Lisandro Martinez alongside Diogo Dalot we shall win that game. I do think that it is time for De Ligt to partner Lisandro Martinez alongside Diogo Dalot in Mazraoui. Yeah, that is a formidable backline for us. In midfield, we shall have Casemiro, we shall have Kobe Mainu and Bruno Fernandes. Garnacho will continue to be an impact player off the bench, or we can say that it's an extended rest for him. United is not bleeding against Brighton, really. I mean, we shall win that game. Then Amad Diallo will start there. Rashford.
Guys, I think that's enough. That's enough. Josh, what happened? You convinced us. You told us you're winning the game. What happened, Josh? What went wrong?
Yeah, but you see, the backline that I had selected is not the one that started the game. I never ever envisioned that Eric Ten Hag would insist on playing Harry Maguire. But I do understand the reason he might have played Harry Maguire ahead of Matthias De Ligt. Maybe he's not yet gotten minutes in his legs to be able to perform at that level. And much as I would have wanted him to start the game, maybe it could have been a whole other thing if he brought him on when he's not fully fit or much sharp, for that matter. So the problems that we did have, you could see there was some schoolboy defending from Harry Maguire to concede the first goal. I don't know. I don't think even under 15s can play like that. He let the ball just run across him and watched it come back.
You know, at some point
he picked the wrong man, but there was more than just Maguire to blame for the goal. It's just that Maguire could have helped us not concede that goal in the first place. I mean, the ball that he let go across him, he could have just kicked it outside. There was a problem with Casemiro. Casemiro was a bit he lacked concentration in that moment. He lost concentration in that moment. He did not track his man all the way. At least he should have been one midfielder should have been the one to pick up Danny Welbeck, because Lisandro Martinez was on the back post and he was left with two men. So the only person who was next to him who would have helped the situation would have been Casemiro, but that was not the case. But I can say it is not a crisis at United. I mean, you can lose a game. For me, the performance was good. If the performance is bad and you get the result, there's a problem in the future. But if the performance is good and the result does not go your way, at least there's a hope in the future.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh. David, we were waiting to witness, see what Josh had said would happen, but unfortunately, it was an upset for Manchester United. Awful defending from Maguire. I also think the substitutions did cost the team. I mean, all those late substitutions. It's okay to substitute someone, but getting off Bruno Fernandes, who was trying to create, When he came off, they did not create anything after he was taken off. I mean, it came as a shock that he was being substituted off the pitch. And we see they've spent a lot of money. Brighton has also spent a lot, approximately 170 million pounds this season. They've signed Ibrahim Osman. They've signed Yankuba Mite, who has been very, very splendid from Newcastle. And by the way, Mite he was in Newcastle, but he never played for Newcastle, surprisingly. And he came, he didn't leave cheap. They got him for 40 million pounds. Then they have Mats from Feyenoord, 25 million pounds. They have very many players. Then they have one on from Arsenal, Amario, free transfer. Then they have Gruder from Mainz in German, 25 million pounds. And they have another one from Leeds, Jorginho Rutter, 40 million pounds. In other words, they've also improved their squad. They didn't play a very convincing game yesterday. I actually think United played, especially in the first half, a convincing game. But Ten Hag's decision, I mean, you start Rashford, who has been awful, who has had a very, very long I mean, it's not that he didn't even play in the Euros. He should be fine right now, firing goals. David, according to you, what do you think is wrong currently at Manchester United? Oh, it's not an alarm. Things are going to fall in place.
Yeah, I think we talked about how no matter which manager Brighton will get, they have established a very clear identity. They were always bound to test United. But even more than that, United still, even though, I mean, regardless of the backline they fielded, United has, advantages with the quality of talent that they have. The gap is big. But in my opinion, I think Ten Hag, we have to now start to question how he's overthinking things. We understand that shirt 7 is a sacred number at United. It's probably the most prestigious shirt number at United. But this business of Mason Mount, I think it has to be brought to a stop. It has to be brought to a stop. United should have created many more chances than Brighton. Even if it would have conceded 2, it could have scored 4. It should have actually scored 4 or 5 goals. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective. We know that Bruno Fernandes will never be a centre forward, and even if he has not been put in centre forward position to score, whatever gimmicks Ten Hag is trying to work out there are simply not working. United was doing the simple things in the preseason. They were probably one of the most attractive teams to watch in the preseason. And even though teams were still in preseason, and we can neglect or discount the preseason games, teams were at the same level. They had this similar fatigue issues, similar sharpness issues. They were supposed to ride that momentum with what we had seen in the preseason. Bruno Fernandes is the creator-in-chief. He's supposed to occupy that space. He's not supposed to be a presser at the top. He's like, it's all mixed up. I think he's overthinking this Ten Hag, But then we can also give kudos to Brighton's midfield. They have experience in James Milner and what's that kid's name? The kid from Chelsea.
Gross.
And Norwich. What's the kid's name?
Who?
Billy Gilmore. Billy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, has spent now a sufficient amount of time in the Premier League. Yeah, and he's he has experience at quite good sides. He had a spell at Chelsea. He struggled with struggling teams. I think Norwich for a while there. So he's built some experience, and that's a midfield that is going to be very bold against whoever you bring, even if the quality might be short. But for me, that's the real issue here. Ten Hag has to stop overthinking, especially for games like this. You know what to expect. Just do what is simpler first. And you see, the more he overthinks, the tougher the games are going to begin to get for him. Because I think he's more focused on, how he could surprise the opposition than what are the easiest solutions at his disposal at the moment. So for me, that's what I see at the moment.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, David. David,
but for me, in his defense, in his defense, you can understand why he insists on playing you can understand why he insists on playing Mason Mount at the top and Bruno Fernandes in that position. For hacking off Bruno Fernandes when he did, I just believe that maybe Bruno Fernandes has not given United the game that he ought to have given us. So Scott McTominay, with the record that he had before, the record he had last season, you would think that he's someone who can come and play in that 10 role and maybe get a goal for you. So I didn't really have a problem with Bruno Fernandes going off. I had a problem with Mason Mount starting, but like you said, that experiment should stop because much as it gives Ten Hag's style of play um, 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 uh, the press, it allows United to press and squeeze the other team so high up the pitch and we get the ball. But the wild dog that we have in Mason Mount cannot use the ball. When he gets the ball, he just passes it to the person next to him. So we have a person who plays in a very important position, but he's not good on the ball. He's actually very poor on the ball. He's just chasing shadows and making sure that the player next to him gets the ball. I can say that Mason Mount. I don't think Mason Mount would want to be that type of player. Would want to be playing like that, but he has accepted to be the sacrifice for the style of play that the manager wants to work. But I think it's time for Mason Mount to be out of that team. It's time for Zagzi to lead the line because Zagzi, much as he does not press as good as Mason Mount does, he can give you so many other things that the team do not have. Because the biggest problem that United had last season was scoring goals. You cannot go into the new season having bought a striker and he's on the bench. He actually even scored in the first game. So
Even in the second,
how are you going to get the goals that you need? You know
that
that,
was disqualified.
yeah, you know that Bruno Fernandes has not been has not been well rested after the Euro and stuff like that. He's actually the only player who has not been given some minutes off. So I would understand him getting off. But then you ask him to lead the line. Yes, we did play well. We actually could have scored many goals if we were clinical, but we were not clinical, and that's a problem that you had. So you're using the same players you had last season in the same positions or different positions, expecting them to give you goals. Yet the problem you had was goals. Now you have Zagzi. Just use Zagzi and see if he can unlock some teams and United gets on the score sheet early. It was a bit fortunate. It was a bit unfortunate for United the way that goal was disallowed. But I also say, man, where is the common sense? Where is the
It's the
common
rules. It's the
sense
rules.
from the referees? Don't referees have discretion anymore?
It's the rules, Josh. It's the rules. I don't even blame the
Yeah,
referee.
it's the rule, but they do have discretion. I mean, like
Maybe in the
it's not like he
uh,
was blocking the view of the keeper. It's not like he was it, as in like him being there, he did not even attempt to play the ball. He was just getting up. The knee is attached to his body. He cannot get up without actually attempting to squat or something.
yeah,
But
I know.
there's no crisis at United. That is a game that we lost, but I believe that the manager now is going to go into the Liverpool game much better, and he will understand the strengths of his side. I know he's hell bent on Mason Mount because that style of football works for him. But if only he had a player as good as Bernardo Silva to do that work for him. But Mason Mount so far, no, he has
I
not
mean,
actually showed up
see,
in a United shirt.
before we close the United loss, why is he playing Rashford? Rashford has, I mean, he had enough time to recover, to train, to come ready. I know he had, yes, one season, but I also think Ganacho should start ahead of Rashford. He's awful. Did you see the way he was running
Of
yesterday?
course,
It's like he didn't even want to run, passing the balls,
No, of course,
uh,
Garnacho.
the crosses. Mm.
No, of course, Garnacho going forward will start ahead of Marcus Rashford. But Marcus Rashford at the moment appears to be the freshest or the most fresh player in attack that
No,
United have,
no,
along with
Josh, no,
Amad Diallo.
no fresh, no
Yes,
fresh
there will
player.
come a time that for me, my prediction for the squad, how the squad will be used going into the season. I actually thought that Garnacho will be starting for United in the third game, much as we needed him even in the second game. And like you saw, he still came on and scored a goal off the bench. So I mean, uh, there's not much loss that you do have Garnacho starting on the bench, because he will still come on and impact the game very positively.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Although I still insist Rashford shouldn't start, and I disagree with Josh saying he's the most. He said he's the freshest person. Well, fresh people, fit people do not do what
Maybe he's the
Rashford is
most
doing right
fresh
now.
attacker. Yeah,
Compared
no,
to
I'm
what I've
only
seen,
saying that because I know that Rashford did not play the Euros. I
Josh,
know that Rashford had a long vacation. So I'm just thinking that he's the most fresher player.
I've seen people who have even played like Garnacho did play in the Copa America, but he's doing way better every time. It's either an assist or it's a goal. So with me, I also think Ten Hag has to revise. In fact, this whole game, I blame Ten Hag why United lost. And again, I don't know whether he's being blindfolded. Maguire, I understand. Yes, yeah, he kind of had a decent game towards the end of the match, but
No, no,
even
no,
last
no, no,
time,
no, no.
listen, even last time he had maybe a decent game, but that's being should I call it hoodwinked? We all know what's going to happen after. Why is he starting all these people? Yet he knows what is going to happen. You saw the goal, the first goal. The ball is coming, and he's trying to look on his
Yeah,
left shoulder. By the
but
time
the
he comes
second
back to
one
look on
was
the right
worse.
shoulder, he can't. He can't. The second one, you saw delete asking them, guys, where were you? You know, awful. Oh, and Joao Pedro had
I
to,
know.
had to do
Yeah,
what
but
he's born to do. Yeah, Josh.
I would like to think that that can happen in. I would like to think that that can happen in a new setup, especially at the back, because at the back, the what makes teams thrive or defenses thrive is partnerships. So I mean, this is like the first time people are being thrown to the field.
Well, his experiments are
You
going to
know,
cause him.
the other
Yes.
thing,
Mm,
yeah, the other thing that I've observed about United, and we can actually query their ambitions in a genuine way. Just on the pitch, when I look at the teams that are competing, and I know we're going to talk about Arsenal and Liverpool and City later, but when I look at the United attack, I don't see partnerships. I don't see partnerships that are working. You know what I mean? Those partnerships are there. Yeah, we can sing our
Yeah,
criticisms against Rashford forever, but you don't see whom is he connecting with, because we see that everywhere else. When you watch how electric City is, at the heart of their attack, you see those partnerships that are working at the top. You can see Haaland connecting with how he's at the end of everything that De Bruyne does. You can see how the Belgium dribbler is, connecting with, you see that Rico Lewis is connect at United. I don't see that. At Arsenal, you can see Saka connecting with White. You can see, you keep seeing that. At United, I don't seem to see which partnership or which, I don't see what's working. I don't see those connections working naturally. So for me, it comes down to Ten Hag on some level. Yeah, the
correct.
players are also not helping, but I think Ten Hag could do more.
Yeah, he could. He could honestly.
yeah,
Me, I
but the
think Ten
players
Hag.
must
And I
take
think that's why you
responsibility.
have Zach.
The players
Yeah,
must
you
take
have Zach.
responsibility.
Josh, at the end of the day, I mean,
Yeah, I'm
if
saying
I'm saying,
I'm saying the
yeah, I
players
understand.
must
I
take
understand.
responsibility too. The thing David is saying about partnerships, I do agree with him. Like Rashford, when he had Luke Shaw behind him, he actually played very well because they connected very well. Maybe we are yet to see Mazraoui and Ahmad Diallo, but they're both just coming into the team for the first time.
You see,
As in,
Josh.
we do want United to behave. We want United to behave like a team that has been progressing. But for me, I take it that this is the first season of United's progress, despite it being the third season for the manager.
Anyway, guys, you know what? This is a long one. Nick says Ten Hag using Bruno as a false nine lately. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. It's not a good idea at all. They're having too many offsides. It's good to have a
Yeah, it's
striker
not a
there.
good idea, especially that he bought a false nine. He bought
A true
Zaxi, who is a
false nine.
false nine. So then,
Oh,
why would a true false nine with all the capabilities and he can actually score some goals? Then you continue to play Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno
yeah, that's it.
Fernandes thrives in the
That's it
position that
for.
he plays with.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Well, that's it all about Brighton whooping Manchester United. It wasn't a really a whoop, but yeah, a bit disappointing to see United losing because they had some good. You could see they had. By the way, Ten Hag's record against Brighton is ugly. It's ugly, very ugly. I think he's lost. He's won only one and lost like 4 or 5. You know. But moving
Yeah.
on, we are going into the Arsenal game. Uh, sorry, Nick says he thinks Edin Terzic will be a good replacement for Ten Hag.
You guys are already thinking of the guy exiting.
No, no,
Let's
no, no,
drive
no,
into
no.
guys. Let's drive
No, no,
into
no, 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 no. I
Arsenal
don't know.
beating
I don't know
As
why
Villa.
all these people around football want Ten Hag's head on a
Josh,
plate.
Josh, we are going to come back to Ten
I
Hag.
mean, even before it is not a crisis to lose a game at Brighton. I mean, like what crisis is
We,
that game? You were just singing his praises because he won an FA Cup. I mean, we have
Josh,
managers in the league who are at their clubs and they are comfortable. They even mooted to be given new contracts, yet they've won nothing but community shields.